All right, everybody. Hey, it's Big Daddy. And we got another Big Daddy and Friends interview, laugh session, chat session, whatever you want to call it. It has many names, it has many stories, and here we tell the stories behind the story. So, as promised, I'm always going to bring on people that I know have been there, have done it, know what they're talking about, and have the experience. So, I'm honored to have this guest. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He played in the league for 15 years, so that should say more than enough. And he's all around a great guy and a dear friend. So everybody, welcome Dennis Seidenberg. What's up, Dennis?
What's going on, Rich? Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, of course. So, the hockey season just ended. Tampa Bay did it again. It's impressive to watch them. I mean, obviously I may be a little biased because I live in Long Island and, you want to cheer for the home team, but you gotta take your hats off to them because they definitely know how to win.
Oh, definitely. I mean, going back to back alone is so impressive. When we won in 2011, we came back the following season. It was much harder to play against each and every team the whole season because you were the champion and they wanted to beat you. And we lost the first round against Washington in Game 7 in overtime. So for them to come back, play like they did, dominate like they did, and win it again is very, very impressive. Now, I would say if we beat Tampa in the conference finals or the Islanders, I think we would have ended up winning the Stanley Cup. But again, there's always if you want to win, you got to go through everybody. And the last couple of years, it's been the Lightning, and they've been just a tick too strong.
What is it? They say you got to win 16 games to get that Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yeah, it's a marathon. It's lots of ups and downs on the way to winning it. And it's a grind, but again, it's you need some luck along the way. But it's a lot of fun if you do end up winning it.
So obviously, I know the history due to our relationship, but to our listeners and viewers out there, Dennis, you came from Germany, so tell us a little bit about what started your love for hockey, and who was your favorite player as a youth?
Well, I came from a little town in Germany called Villingen-Schwenningen. It's in the Black Forest of Germany. It's a small town.
I gotta imagine me trying to repeat that again.
It's not. I mean, Villingen-Schwenningen. It's not too hard, but I understand it's tough for an American to say. Anyway, so they had a professional team in the first league. So hockey was somewhat bigger in that area, although hockey as a whole in Germany is not a huge sport. So I got dragged to the rink a few times by my mom to take skating lessons, and as well as my dad taking care as a physical therapist for the team back then. So I got to spend some time at the rink and decided I wanted to start playing, or trying to play some hockey, and ended up liking it. The rest was history. I did play tennis quite a bit, parallel to playing hockey until I was 16, 17. I was pretty good at it as well. At some point, I actually had to make a decision whether I was going to go with tennis or hockey. I obviously ended up choosing hockey, which wasn't the worst decision to have made back then.
That's like me growing up as a kid, playing soccer or playing football. Obviously, I got forced to go in the one direction compared to the other direction. But I mean, not that I was good at soccer, but it was kind of funny. You start off with all these kids, and all of a sudden, you start noticing weight gain, height gain, and dude, you don't look like a soccer player. Get your hand in the ground and go after somebody. But,
That's good.
Yeah. So who's your favorite player as a kid?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I forgot to answer that question. Like I mentioned, the town had a professional team back then. They had lots of imports, Canadian guys mostly, and there was they were Canadians, and I was admiring them. Those were the team that I watched. You probably don't know the names. There were Grant Martin, Wally Schreiber. There were imports back then. They were dominant in the league, and I was just a fan of theirs and just loved watching them. I did hear about or watch a little bit about Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux and those guys. But back then, there was only once a week a summary about the NHL, off the NHL. So it was more me following the German league and the hometown team than the NHL back then.
Got it. And then you have a brother that also plays too, right?
Yes, he plays for the Red Bull Munich. He won the silver medal 3 years ago for Germany in the Olympics. The NHL guys weren't allowed to take part in that tournament, so they took their chance and went all the way into the final. Almost ended up winning the gold, but ended up losing in overtime against the Russians.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff. Obviously, I had the good fortune of celebrating with you when you won the cup in 2011. I think I'll never forget my overnight trip to Atlantic City. It was a very fun, tiresome evening, but thank you for that opportunity. And I did get to go see you play up in Boston, so that was cool. That was exciting too, man. That place was lit up like a Christmas tree and loud as could be. And, it's been a while since I've seen anything like that. Obviously, last year we didn't get to go to any games, but hopefully this year it all turns around and we'll see what happens there, Now, getting back to Tampa, I should have asked this before, but what makes them so good? If you had to give give it the fourth grader version. And what I mean by that is so that if anyone who doesn't understand hockey or just gets it a little bit has an idea of what you're trying to say.
All right. So Tampa, the way they're set up, they have two very good offensive lines, like very powerful, very skilled. The names, I don't know if I can even get them all together, but it's obviously Stamkos, Point, Killorn, Kucherov, Palat, like all those guys. They're very, very good offensively. They can score. They can score a lot, and that's what they've been doing the last couple of years. On top of that, they have a third line that's still very capable of scoring, as well as playing very well defensively, mostly against the first line of the other team, which is Coleman, the kid that went to Seattle. Anyways, they're very, very good skaters, play with a lot of energy, and just are very good defensively. And then they got another line, a fourth line that's like most of the lines that bring a lot of energy. They play with lots of physicality, and all that together just makes it very, very hard to play against. And then, I forgot the defense too. They have a great mix as well between physicality with McDonough, a great number one defenseman in Hedman.
He's amazing.
Chef.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. Watching him, being as big as he is, and he rarely makes a mistake.
Well, if he does, he just gets back. He's such a good skater. He just outskates everybody. He flies over the ice. His wingspan is just about as long as Zeus, Zdeno Charas, and to have a guy like that as a backbone of your team makes you that much stronger. And I think a kind of combination between a really strong defense that can play offense and an offense that can score on top of playing well defensively makes them very, very hard to beat. And I'm sure they're going to be really good again, although they lost a few guys for next year. But I'm sure they're going to be good next year as well.
Yeah, it was so impressive. Again, kudos to them. And, Coach Cooper, he just got he was just told he's coaching Team Canada in the Olympics. So
I saw that.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know him he went to college here, didn't he? So I'm sure you met him
he
along the
went
way.
right here. Yeah, he went to Hofstra, and you cheer for him being a local guy, and I'm sure he gets a chuckle when he comes back here all the time because the Coliseum being right across the street from Hofstra must bring back a lot of memories for him.
For sure. Is he from this area or?
No, I don't think he's from here, but he went to school here. So
yeah.
And he was a lacrosse player, which lacrosse is big in Canada, especially
and huge here too as well.
Yeah.
Probably the best in the country, I would say, right? You would know better than I do, but
I would say, here in Long Island, I mean, where you live, man, those guys are born with, it's like hockey players. They're born with sticks in their hands. At 4 years old, you ride down Stewart Avenue over there and you see all these little kids. There's hundreds of them with lacrosse sticks in their hands. So it's interesting and good for him because I've had the chance to meet him and he's a good man and he deserves everything he gets. I mean, he's not, he doesn't fly off the handle or, really, I know the players respect him and obviously they got to love him because he knows how to steer the ship, So now you're in coaching. Let's tell everybody what you got going on and before you start, it's funny. I had Barry Trotz on this show and we talked offline and we talked about you and he said, you're going to make a hell of a coach. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't know Dennis was thinking of coaching or, again, I didn't know. So it was kind of caught me off guard. But he was, you have that mentorship deal going on, if you know what I mean. You can teach the young guys, how to play. I mean, you have all the experience in the world. You've won a Stanley Cup. You've played overseas. I mean, you can't buy that kind of experience.
Yeah, that's nice to hear from a coach like that. Although I'm not sure if I'm ready for coaching yet or if I'm ever going to be. It's I'm sure Barry told you the hours they put into doing the job. They get into the office really early, watch video, get prepared for every single opponent. And it's just a lot of work. And I have 3 kids, so we have 3 kids here at home. They still need a lot of attention. They need people to drive them around from one sport to the other, which I'm doing these days, and I enjoy. So as of now, I'm not ready to do the coaching job, but who knows in the future? You can never say never. But as of now, I got a small role with them. I take the injured guys out on the ice and get them ready to join the team again to get back into the lineup. So it keeps me busy, keeps me in the game, and I enjoy it. I'm grateful for Lou to give me the opportunity to stay around. And again, it's a nice thing to still be at the rink every day, and I enjoy it.
It's the other day or 2 days ago, the Hall of Fame for the NFL was being presented and whatnot, and I didn't have the chance to get out there, but I had 2 guys that went in. And but the one speech that really caught my eye was Jimmy Johnson, the old Dallas Cowboys coach. And he talked about family and coaching and how he never saw any of his kids' high school football games because he worked so hard and he apologized and now they have a great relationship, him and his 2 sons and so I know, and my youngest brother is a football coach with the Buffalo Bills, and I know the hours he puts in. I mean, he's 5 a.m. and sometimes these guys, they sleep in their offices. That's how bad it gets, But listen, you want to win that brass ring, you gotta every little bit helps or counts, so to speak.
I mean, Buffalo seems like they're pretty close this. Last year they were pretty good.
Yeah.
So they're getting better with Allen getting older and more experienced and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting. But going back to coaching, I think football coaches is a different animal than hockey. I mean, those guys, like you said, they sleep in their office, and hockey is not quite as bad. And again, it's the kids only grow up once, and you want to spend as much time if you can. And that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah. No, that's great and honorable at the same time. So now, obviously, we dealt with coronavirus and COVID and all that. Do you think amongst players, is it are guys nervous about, getting vaccinated or not being vaccinated? I know that's a big deal right now, and it just hasn't hit hockey yet because you guys don't start till September. But right now with football, you got coaches and players that are, hey, I don't want to get vaccinated, this, that, all these things. I mean, what's your feeling on that?
I think for the most part, most of the guys and most of the teams have the majority of their teams vaccinated. And I'm sure every team has their guys that are not in favor of getting it, or they have their own reasons for not getting it, which is fine. I think everybody should have their own choice whether they want to get vaccinated or not. I'm sure they have their reasons for it, but I think in hockey it'll go over smooth. I think, like you said, they haven't started yet, but at the end of last season, the majority of all the teams that were still playing were pretty much, I think, I don't want to say a percentage, but mostly all the teams had it, and the percentage was pretty high, I want to say, but I don't think it'll be a big problem. And who knows what the NHL is going to come out with, the ruling, like you said, the NFL, if they're going to do that, or if they're going to just take a step back and let everybody else make their own choice. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Who do you think right now is the best young NHL player?
Best young NHL player. What do you consider young? Like rookie or a couple of 3-4 years?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years. Not a rookie, but a 2 or 3 year guy. I mean,
if you say 3 years, Barzal is still part of it. I think he's definitely up there. You can pick Tim Stützle, the guy from Germany that was picked number 2 for Ottawa. He's very explosive offensively. You go with Kaprizov in Minnesota. There's like a handful of guys you can pick. I think even Fox only played 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Adam Fox for the Rangers.
Yeah.
And you won the Norris Trophy. So I mean, if you go up to 3 years, then I definitely would pick him, just because how well he played last year, how experienced he is or plays already at that age. And winning the Norris Trophy just says it all, how good he's been and how good he's going to be going forward.
So here's an advice question. You played 15 seasons. You're in a room with 5 rookies. What do you tell those 5 rookies on how they could play 15 seasons?
You know what? I think it's all about consistency. It's about being crazy enough to wanting to play that long. And you just have to love the game. You have to stay in the moment. You can't really worry too much what happened in the past. You can't worry too much what's going to happen in the future. So it's all about staying in the moment and enjoying as much as you can along the way. And again, stay humble and keep your goals in mind.
Well, obviously, I'm a big hockey fan, and I always tell people all the time when they ask me, why is a football guy in hockey? And I always tell the story. I started in hockey first, and then, even though I had a football background, went into football, but hockey's where I got my break, and I started working with hockey players and so on and so on, and I've had the great fortune of drinking out of Stanley Cups all over the place, and I still think, and some football guys can give me flack about this, and I work with all 4 sports. I think hockey players are always the best. I mean, I think it's and I'll take it on the chin. I'm big enough. I got big shoulders. So it's just, you develop relationships that go in with hockey players that most of the time go even further than when guys are, after they're done playing. I keep in touch with a lot of guys. I mean, I got guys that live all the way up in Seattle, that I still talk to, and I get an email or I get the old, hey, Big Daddy, can I get to a Seahawks game, man? Can you hook me up? Something like that. those things always. And look, that's part of the deal. It's when you know people in the right places, it's you shouldn't be afraid to share those people when it's good people. When it's not someone taking advantage or using it for wrongdoings or whatnot. But that's how I feel about that. So now, here comes the fun, exciting part. Now I hand the mic over to you.
Oh.
And you basically asked me a question. Maybe there's something you want to know, you don't know. Go ahead. The mic is yours.
Well, like I said before, it's, I've known you for a long time now. I want to say 20 years.
Yeah.
And it always amazes me, your network, how many people you know. It's insane. Everywhere you go, somehow through somebody knows you, and it's just amazes me. And how did you build that network? How did you get to know so many people all over the country and now maybe even world? So it's something very impressive.
Well, you know what? It's you meet one person. Like I always tell people my network was built as a kid, and what I mean by that was being that I grew up in football. I had friends of mine that were equipment managers at the Jets. And I'm talking like the 70s all the way up through 90s.
Yeah.
And those people, they all advanced and went to different places. So here's a guy that was a ball boy. Now he's at Nike football. Here's another, and here's another guy that was a equipment manager. He became vice president of the NFL team.
Wow.
And guys moved around and along, and then when you start working with prominent players, obviously I stick out in a lot of areas because either I look like a bouncer or a football player, so people are like, hey, who is that guy? Like, what's his deal? And basically by being able to do what I say I can do, I think people respect you for that. Yeah, there's times when, let's say, you might ask me for something, a favor or something, and I'll be the first one. Either I could do it, Dennis, or I'll find somebody that can do it. It's just like when we talked the other day. You were out in Vegas. Had I known, then, boom, I would have made one call and you would have been like that, and that's a relationship I have with someone out there that I knew from New York that moved out there. And now, they're running the show. And it's always difficult to remember names and whatnot. In my phone alone, I've got about 4,000 contacts. And it's a nightmare when the phone goes down because to get those names transferred, it takes like a year and a day. It doesn't happen like this.
I'm sure it does.
And it's a pain. But again, I think it's being able to, respect people and not take advantage of their time and respect their privacy. And again, always, keep your word. Do what if I'm going to do something, and if I say I'm going to do it, I do it. And if I can't, I can't, or let me find someone that can help you do it. I think that's how really I've built a network, and then surrounding myself with people like you and others that, know me and aren't afraid to say a good word. I think that's what helps build a network.
Yeah.
And help me with my network. And what are you up to now?
Well, these days I still have a small role with the Islanders. I take the injured guys on the ice, get them ready to go back to join the team for full practices. And that's I'm thankful to Lou that he lets me still be part of it, still come to the rink every day and just enjoy still living the life of an NHL hockey player, or being at least part-time part of it. But it also allows me to be with the kids in the afternoons, drive them to all different kind of athletics in the afternoon. Because my wife these days, she's running a store. It's Offsides Clothing in Greenville. And it's a great store for men and women. She loves doing it. She works way too much, in my opinion. It stresses her out way too much, but she loves what she does. And she's doing a really good job, and I'm proud of her.
I could say I've been there. It's a beautiful store. I've shopped there. Not for me, of course, because it's a little difficult with my. Well, although I am down now, I have lost about 75 pounds since last August.
Oh, that's good. Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's incredible selection of things that she has, and I recommend that everyone go out and see Rebecca, and we'll make fun of her at the same time. I always joke around and say, it's great to be the owner, but she does a great job modeling the stuff too. Usually it doesn't work that way, but boy, it's you really want to get an idea of all you women out there. Go out there and check out Rebecca. She not only speaks it, she wears it. So.
Trust me, I know. I see it every day in the closet.
Yeah, exactly. Rebecca will be grabbing me by the ear, probably, Big Daddy, you overextended yourself a little bit, and we're going to have to talk about this. But listen, Offsides, it's a great store in Greenville, Long Island. Get there, and the selection's incredible. And tell everybody when you walk in there that you know Dennis, and Dennis sent you.
There we go. She'll be happy.
So that's great. I want to say thank you very much for coming on, and we'll catch up and we'll grab some coffee and a cannoli soon. I got a great bakery to take you over to, like I mentioned a while ago. But for everyone out there, until next time, it's Big Daddy, and we'll see you guys soon on Big Daddy and Friends.